Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Why?
I just never been a. Every time I drink coffee, I always wind up. It's about 1/4 coffee, and then the rest is milk and sugar. So I just why bother with the coffee?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
But most of the time it's tea.
Hi, I'm Beatrice, and I'm one of the ambassadors for the College of Engineering, and today I'm here with Dr. Gholston.
Hello, I'm Dr. Gholston. I am the Department Chair for Industrial System Engineering. My educational background, I have a engineering technology undergraduate degree from Austin P. My master's in industrial and system engineering from Tuscaloosa, and then I have a PhD from here in industrial system engineering.
All right, thank you. So one of the first questions I have for you is, can you define ISE?
Industrial engineers, we like to say engineers make things, industrial engineers make things better. But so for ISE, we kind of take the perspective of, for a process, how can we make it more efficient? And the systems component comes in as we try to take a systems viewpoint in all those decisions. So for the whole, sometimes we have to look at the departments or the sub pieces and not necessarily optimize those, but see how they fit into the whole. So from if I had a 10-second definition, it would be the industrial engineers take a holistic view at organizations and processes and try to make them better, whether it's more efficient, more profitable, reduce costs, those things.
Awesome, thank you. What classes are you currently teaching or have you taught in the past?
The main class I teach is applied statistics. So I teach statistics for engineering. Also, my area is quality engineering. So I teach the introduction to statistical quality control. Right now, I'm teaching our research-based class for our PhD students, and I'm also teaching the undergraduate probability statistics class.
All right. And what is your favorite class to teach, like out of the ones you've taught in the past?
My favorite class will probably be probability and statistics. So that's the one I've taught the most. So being able to turn data into information that can aid decision makers, I think is an important skill for everybody, especially engineers.
Are you involved in any industry or research outside of teaching or in the past?
I am. Currently, my main research is with the DevCom Data Analysis Center, who partners with us here in the department, and they do human systems research for Army applications. So we look at the human as a part of a complex system in that research, and we try to see how do we improve the performance of the entire systems based on the limitations of the human. So we look at the cognitive burden as well as the physical burden placed on the human by those complex systems and how that limits the performance of the system. And then my background is manufacturing, so I constantly do research with local manufacturing organizations and projects there, mainly as it relates to Lean Six Sigma, which is continuous improvement activities.
All right, thank you. And how can students get involved in your research group?
Mainly just come and talk to me and be interested. So if they're interested in those areas, then we try to find opportunities for them to work within those groups. Right now there's several faculty members working with me with the Army Research Project, and we have several students from undergraduate and graduate level students working on those projects.
Great. What qualities do your most successful students typically have?
The willingness to work. So if they bring that, then we can plug them into our research groups, and then for the most part, they find success if they're just willing to show up and work. Hopefully they're interested in the area as well, and that kind of drives that part of being willing to work and go above and beyond. But if they're just willing to show up and work, then we have a spot for them.
Yeah, that's a great motivation to have. What makes a student stand out among the rest?
What makes a student? That's a good question. Probably their engagement, I would say. If they're engaged and they tend to stand out, being involved in our student groups, asking questions during class, those kinds of things normally. And those are the students who normally wind up working in our research groups because we identify those opportunities for them. So we like to identify opportunities for students who are looking for those opportunities. So sometimes we just don't know if they're looking for the opportunities, and those go by the wayside. It also deals with retention as well. So the more the students are engaged, the more likely they are to stay and get their degree.
That makes sense. And what are your hobbies and interests outside of engineering?
Well, when I was young, I used to like to play softball, and so I was sports background. So anything to do with athletics, that was my hobby. Now I hunt, and I watch sports that I'm old now that I can't play anymore. So anything along those lines. And I like to travel.
Is there anything in sports that can be applied to your engineering career?
Sure. As I watch the football game, sometimes I have to turn my mind off because I'm trying to look at the analytics as well as look at the strategies and see if I can make things better by applying those IE skills that we learn within it. So sometimes watching it is work, but I try not to do that as much as possible.
Yeah. If you could rank the types of engineering, who's at the bottom?
Oh man, that's who's at the bottom. So I think the problems that we have to solve today, I'll say this first, and then I'll put one at the bottom. But the problems that we have to solve today, especially in this town, requires a multidisciplinary team. So it requires us looking at it from all those different viewpoints to be able to come to those solutions. So you got to have aerospace, working with your mechanical, electrical, computer, and of course the industrial systems. We kind of bring everything together. So I think that's the big one. But if I rank them, I'll just say in this town, in order of importance, probably civil engineering, because this is an aerospace town. So that's the only reason. But we still got to have the infrastructure. So I think it requires all of us to be there. But I will just add on top of that, I think what's becoming more important is the cyber security as it relates to being able to protect your data information. And then on top of that, any tools that we can use to process that large amount of data information quickly to get it in a format where the decision makers can use it to make better decisions. It's going to be more and more important as we go forward.
That makes sense. Do you have any advice for students wondering if engineering is the right area for them?
So my advice would be get involved with the student organizations as much as possible. So we have a lot of very active student organizations. So they're applying the skills and techniques that they're learning in the class. So that's one way to figure out if it's a field for you. The other one is going and talking to the professors. So if there's one thing professors like to do is talk, especially about what they do. So go ask questions, see if they have any ideas. And then take that information and then try to make the best decision for you.
That makes sense. Do you have any advice for students coming into college in general?
Yes, get engaged. So get out of your comfort zone. So learn from the other students that come before you. So you want to get engaged in those student organizations again, but as well as in your classes, try to collaborate with other classmates. I think one thing after I guess COVID is we got used to working in isolation. Now we're trying to transition back. So a lot of times, that information that you don't have could be the information you need that's going to help make you successful. So be engaged, talk to the professors, get to know your professors, because somebody will call me this afternoon looking for an internship. So just being, that person that the professor's thinking of when that call happens could be advantageous.
That's great. Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate you, coming to interview with us, and we'll see you at the engineering showcase next week.
Yes,
Yes.
I'll do that. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Edit it before it's released, right? Y'all don't get the right over.